The morning sun casts a soft glow over my land, warming the wooden fence posts and glistening on the dewy grass. The air is rich with the scent of earth, livestock, and fresh hay, a smell I've known my whole life. My farm has been in my family for 3 generations, passed down from my granddad to my father, then to me. It's more than land. It's legacy. I take a deep breath, letting the peace of the morning settle over me. The cows move lazily in the pasture, their tails flicking at flies. Chickens cluck near the coop, pecking at the dirt. Beyond them, my pigs root around happily in their pen, oblivious to the world outside. It should be a perfect morning, but I feel it. Something is off. I lean against the fence, glancing toward the row of houses just beyond my property line. Oak Ridge Estates. Once, it was just a collection of homes near my farm, neighbors who understood that the smell of fresh manure came with the territory. Then the HOA took over. And everything changed. Now, instead of friendly waves, I get scowls. Instead of casual conversations at the farmer's market, I hear whispers behind my back. Some of the newer residents, folks who moved in after the HOA started enforcing its beautification rules, act like my farm is some kind of blight. Like I don't belong here. I wipe sweat from my brow and turn back toward the house when I spot it, a white envelope taped to my fence post. Another one. I rip it open and scan the neatly typed letter. Notice of violation. Livestock odor infraction. Dear Mr. Carter, it has come to our attention that the odor from your farm animals is negatively impacting the quality of life in Oak Ridge Estates. Per HOA guidelines, all residents are required to maintain a clean and odor-free property. Please remedy this issue immediately, or further action will be taken. Sincerely, Karen Whitmore, HOA President _. I let out a slow breath, my fingers tightening around the paper. Karen Whitmore. Again. Ever since she moved in 2 years ago, she's had a problem with my farm. First, it was my old tractor, which she called an eyesore. Then it was my barn's red paint, which she claimed clashed with the neighborhood aesthetic. Now, she's coming for the smell. I glance over at her house, the biggest one on the block, with its perfectly trimmed hedges and a welcome sign that's anything but sincere. And there she is, standing on her porch, arms crossed, watching. Waiting. She wants me gone. I crumple the letter in my fist. Not gonna happen. The next morning, I wake up to an email from the HOA. Another complaint. Mr. Carter. Multiple residents have reported that the odor from your farm is becoming unbearable. This is a formal warning. If the issue is not resolved immediately, the HOA will explore legal action. Sincerely, Karen Whitmore, HOA President. I rub my temples, frustration burning through me. Multiple residents? That's new. I've had issues with Karen before, but this is the first time she's claimed other people were complaining. Something about this doesn't sit right. I throw on my boots and step outside, inhaling the morning air. It smells like a farm. Earthy, a little musky from the pigs, but nothing out of the ordinary. The same smell that's been here since my granddad ran this place. I scan the houses beyond my fence line, looking for any sign of movement. A few cars back out of driveways. Someone jogs past with their dog, giving my farm a wide berth. Are they really complaining, or is Karen just stirring the pot? As if on cue, I hear a voice. Mr. Carter. I turn. Karen Whitmore stands at my fence, her arms crossed over her pressed white blouse. She's got that usual look, like she's holding in a sigh, like she's too important to be dealing with this. Morning, Karen, I say, keeping my voice even. She pinches her nose. It is unbearable today. How can you live like this? I resist the urge to roll my eyes. It's a farm, Karen. This is what farms smell like. She gives me a tight-lipped smile. We have standards in Oak Ridge Estates. People shouldn't have to suffer because you refuse to modernize. Modernize. I know exactly what she means. Karen moved in with her HOA rules, her manicured expectations, and her subtle hints that my kind didn't belong in a neighborhood like this. She couldn't say it outright, but I saw it in the way she spoke to me. Like I was an inconvenience, like I wasn't meant to be here. I lean against the fence. Funny, Karen. My family's been here long before Oak Ridge Estates even existed. You knew there was a farm when you bought your house. She scoffs. I assumed you'd be reasonable. But clearly, we'll have to take action. That word. We. She's not just speaking for herself anymore. Somehow, she's managed to get others on her side. Enjoy your morning, Mr. Carter, she says, turning on her heel. I suggest you do something about the stench before we make it official. As she walks away, I feel it, the shift. This isn't just Karen being a nuisance anymore.
She's planning something.
And I need to find out exactly what. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of my pigs squealing louder than usual. I step outside, and my gut clenches. A bright red violation sign is staked into the ground right in front of my fence. Notice of immediate action. Due to multiple unresolved complaints, the Oak Ridge Estates HOA is requiring immediate corrective measures regarding odor violations. Failure to comply may result in fines and legal proceedings. At the bottom, in bold, is Karen's signature. I clench my jaw. She escalated this fast. I storm over to her house, knocking hard on her pristine white door. The second it swings open, Karen is standing there, already smirking, as if she expected me. Mr. Carter, she says, her voice dripping with faux politeness. What can I do for you? I hold up the notice. You want to explain this? She sighs dramatically, stepping onto her porch. I don't see what's unclear. The community has concerns, and as president of the HOA, it's my responsibility to act on them. You mean your concerns? I shoot back. She tilts her head, feigning innocence. Oh no, this isn't just me. I have multiple signed complaints from residents who say the smell is disrupting their daily lives. Multiple signed complaints? That's new. Let me see them, I say. Karen gives me a tight-lipped smile. I don't have to provide them to you. But rest assured, the community has spoken. My fists tighten at my sides. She's lying. This is harassment, Karen. And you know it. Her smile doesn't falter. I simply uphold the rules, Mr. Carter. If you don't like them, perhaps you should consider relocating. There it is. She doesn't just want to find me. She wants me gone. I exhale slowly. You think you can bully me into selling my land? She shrugs. I think people deserve to live in a clean, respectable neighborhood. I step closer, lowering my voice. You moved next to a farm, Karen. This farm has been here longer than this HOA. You don't get to erase that just because it doesn't fit your aesthetic. For the first time, her expression wavers. She knows I'm right, but she recovers quickly, smoothing her blouse. We'll see what the HOA board decides, she says. Have a nice day. She shuts the door in my face.
Fine.
If she wants a fight, she's got one. Gathering evidence. That afternoon, I make some calls. If Karen really has multiple complaints, I need to find out who's behind them. I start with my neighbor Rosa, who's lived here long before the HOA took over. She picks up on the first ring. Rosa, did you file a complaint about my farm? She snorts. Hell no. That woman's a menace. I saw her going door to door last week with a clipboard, pressuring folks to sign something. Bingo. I call another neighbor, Mr. Thompson. Same story. She came by, said the HOA needed signatures to protect the neighborhood, he tells me. I refused. But I saw her talking to some new folks. Seemed like she was twisting their arm. So Karen didn't collect real complaints. She manipulated people. I head to the local county office to pull up property records. Just as I suspected, my land is legally protected as agricultural property. The HOA has zero authority over it. By the time I return home, I have enough proof to shut her down. But before I can make my move, my phone buzzes. It's Rosa. Her voice is urgent. You need to get to the HOA meeting tonight. Karen's pushing a vote to fine you thousands of dollars. I grip my keys. She's trying to bankrupt me out. This has gone far enough. The meeting. The HOA meeting is packed, more people than usual. Karen stands at the front, her clipboard in hand, looking smug as hell. As I was saying, she announces, the ongoing odor violations have created an unpleasant environment. We have exhausted all polite measures, so the board will now vote on imposing daily fines until Mr. Carter resolves the issue. She gestures toward a projector screen, showing a dramatically edited video of my pigs rolling in the mud. The colors are exaggerated, the smell practically implied through the screen. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. She's playing dirty.
I stand.
Before you vote, I have some information to share. Karen's eyes narrow. This is a closed discussion, Mr. Carter. Then you should have told me when you started slandering my farm. The room quiets. I pull out the property records. My farm is legally protected as agricultural land. The HOA has no authority over it.
Gasps.
A few board members exchange glances. Karen's face tightens. That can't be right. I pull out recordings from Rosa and Mr. Thompson. And here's proof that Karen faked complaints, coercing people into signing her petition. Karen's smug expression shatters. I turn to the crowd. This isn't about smell. It never was. Karen doesn't like my farm, and she doesn't like the fact that I won't bow to her. The room falls silent. Then someone speaks. This isn't fair, a neighbor murmurs. He was here first. Another voice. Karen never told us the full story. The tide is turning. Karen's hands tremble around her clipboard. This meeting isn't adjourned, but it doesn't matter. She just lost. Karen stands at the front of the HOA meeting room, gripping her clipboard like it's a shield. Her face is tight with barely concealed satisfaction as she clears her throat and addresses the room. As I was saying, we have exhausted all polite measures. Mr. Carter has continuously ignored community concerns, forcing us to take decisive action. We, the HOA board, will now proceed with a vote to impose daily fines until this matter is resolved. She turns to the small group of HOA board members sitting beside her. Most of them look uncomfortable, shifting in their seats, but one by one, they nod, as if they've already made up their minds. I step forward. Before you vote, let's clear something up. Karen barely glances at me. Mr. Carter, you've already spoken. This is a closed discussion. I cross my arms. Then why wasn't I informed? You're making decisions about me and my farm, yet you conveniently forgot to invite the person you're targeting. A murmur spreads through the crowd. Karen's lips tighten, but she quickly regains her composure. This is a community matter, Mr. Carter, and the community has spoken. She pulls a stack of papers from her clipboard and smirks. I have here a petition signed by over 20 residents, all of whom agree that the odor from your farm is unbearable. This is undeniable proof that your property is creating a nuisance. And as per the HOA bylaws, we are well within our rights to enforce penalties. She steps closer, lowering her voice just enough for only me to hear. Face it, Carter. You lost. I let her bask in her moment, let her think she's won. Let her arrogance do the work for me. Then I smile. Slow. Measured. I have something, too. Karen blinks. Excuse me? I turn to the crowd. I did some digging. And you'll all be interested to know that Karen's multiple complaints weren't exactly what she made them out to be. I pull out my phone and hit play. Rosa's voice echoes through the room. That woman's a menace. I saw her going door to door, pressuring folks to sign something. Karen stiffens. I let it play. She didn't even tell people what they were signing. Just said it was for the good of the neighborhood. When I asked her if it was about Mr. Carter's farm, she just smiled and said it was better if I didn't know. A ripple of shock spreads through the room. Karen's face drains of color. I turn back to her. Tell me, Karen, how many of those signatures were gathered honestly? The board members exchange glances. A few residents whisper among themselves, eyes darting toward Karen with growing suspicion. Karen recovers fast, her voice sharp. This is ridiculous. You expect us to believe the word of a few disgruntled neighbors. I hold up another paper. And here's a document straight from the county records office. Turns out my farm is legally protected agricultural land. I turn to the board members. Which means this HOA has zero authority over it. Karen's mouth falls open. The board president, a frail, older man named Mr. Davidson, adjusts his glasses and studies the document. His eyebrows lift. This appears to be legitimate, he says slowly. Karen whips toward him. No, it can't be. It is, I say, tucking my phone away. And let's not forget that HOA bylaws clearly state that any fines or penalties must be legally enforceable. Which means this entire vote. It's a scam. A stunned silence fills the room. Someone chuckles. Then a few more. It spreads until half the room is whispering, laughing, shaking their heads. Did she really just try to find a farm for smelling like a farm? Someone mutters. I never even signed that petition. Another neighbor calls out. Karen's hands shake around her clipboard. Why you people don't understand. We have to uphold community standards. But she's losing them. One of the board members, a middle-aged woman with dark curls, leans forward. Karen, is it true? Did you go door to door and misrepresent this petition? Karen swallows hard. I was simply advocating for the neighborhood. I take a step forward. Or were you trying to force me out? A hush falls. Karen's eyes dart around the room, but there's no escape. The board members are shifting uncomfortably, and several neighbors are looking at her with something dangerously close to disgust. She turns back to me, her face twisting. You think you're so clever, don't you? She hisses. I smile. No, Karen. I just don't like bullies. The board president clears his throat. I think we've heard enough. This vote is officially void. The HOA has no legal authority over Mr. Carter's farm, and any complaints filed under false pretenses will be reviewed immediately. A murmur of agreement spreads through the crowd. Karen's entire body goes rigid. You can't let him get away with this. Mr. Davidson straightens his papers. Karen, I suggest you step down before we have to remove you. The room erupts in murmurs. Karen staggers back, her face a mix of rage and humiliation. She lost. And she knows it. Karen stands frozen at the front of the HOA meeting room. Her carefully curated image, the poised, respectable leader of Oak Ridge Estates, is unraveling before everyone's eyes. You can't do this, she stammers, her voice brittle. I was only trying to protect our community. I step closer, my voice calm but firm. By lying? By faking complaints and coercing signatures. The murmurs grow louder. Karen's eyes dart around the room, searching for support. But the tide has turned. The same neighbors who once followed her lead now whisper to each other, shaking their heads. A few glare at her outright. Even the board members, who were so eager to nod along just moments ago, are now avoiding eye contact. She's alone, but she's not done yet. With a sharp inhale, she squares her shoulders and forces a smile. Look, everyone, she says, her voice honeyed but shaky. This has all been a misunderstanding. Maybe I was a little too eager to address community concerns, but I only had the neighborhood's best interests at heart. Surely, we can move forward without any unnecessary drama. Unnecessary drama? She's still trying to spin this, hoping she can talk her way out. I take my time before responding, letting the weight of the moment settle. Then I pull out my final card. I agree, Karen. No unnecessary drama. Just the facts. I turn to the projector, where her heavily edited footage of my pigs still lingers on the screen. I reach into my pocket and pull out a flash drive. Mind if I show something? I ask, already walking toward the laptop connected to the projector. Karen stiffens. What is that? I don't answer. Instead, I plug in the drive and hit play. A new video appears on the screen. It's security footage, taken from a neighbor's Ring camera last week. The timestamp is clear. And so is Karen. She's at a neighbor's doorstep, clipboard in hand, agitated, pleading.
We all watch as she speaks.
Just sign it, okay? You don't need to read it. It's just a formality. The neighbor hesitates. What is this for? Karen huffs. It's about Carter's farm. If we get enough signatures, we can push him out. He's ruining property values. Do you really want people like him setting the standard for this neighborhood? A stunned silence grips the room. Karen gasps. The damning phrase rings out like a gunshot. Do you really want people like him? The air thickens with understanding. Karen turns ghost white. Tea that's taken out of context. That's not what I meant. But it's too late. The truth is out. The video keeps playing. The neighbor refuses to sign, and Karen's expression twists into something ugly. Fine. Don't come complaining when your property value tanks because of him. The footage ends. No one speaks. A few board members exchange glances, their faces hardening. A neighbor, one of the new residents who had seemed hesitant earlier, crosses his arms. So, all this wasn't about a smell at all, was it? Another woman shakes her head. She was trying to get rid of him. Karen spins to face them, desperate.
No.
No, you're misunderstanding. I was only trying to. A deep voice cuts through. Karen Whitmore. Everyone turns. At the back of the room, a man in a county inspector's uniform steps forward. Karen visibly flinches. My chest tightens. I didn't call him, but I have a pretty good guess who did. Rosa stands beside the inspector, arms crossed, smirking. Surprise, she murmurs under her breath as she walks past me. The inspector steps forward, holding a clipboard of his own. We received multiple reports about HOA violations, and after reviewing county records, we found some interesting discrepancies. Karen swallows hard. Discrepancies? He nods. Seems you've been enforcing policies that don't legally apply. And more concerningly, he taps his clipboard, looking unimpressed. You've been misappropriating HOA funds to push personal grievances. A collective gasp. Karen staggers. That's the mistake. There's no proof of. The inspector hands a sheet to the board president. Copies of unauthorized transactions. The HOA treasury paid for the printing of those flyers you distributed about Mr. Carter's farm. Paid for door-to-door canvassing. Even paid for legal consultation on how to forcibly rezone his land. Karen's breathing turned shallow. Now, I don't know about you folks, the inspector says, turning to the room, but that sounds a lot like fraud. The air shifts. People who had once blindly followed Karen step back. A few pull out their phones, recording. Karen's world is crumbling. She shakes her head frantically. This is a mistake. Why you can't just. The inspector raises a hand. Oh, we're just getting started. County officials will be conducting a full audit of HOA finances. If further misuse of funds is found, there will be legal consequences. Karen's breath hitches. Illegal consequences? I take a step forward. Guess you should have read the fine print before messing with my farm. Her eyes snap to me, full of rage. But there's something else there now.
Fear.
The board president clears his throat. Karen Whitmore, effective immediately, you are removed as HOA president. A thunderous wave of murmurs rolls through the crowd. Karen stumbles back, blinking. No, you can't do this. Meeting adjourned, Mr. Davidson announces, slamming his gavel. It's over. Karen collapses into a chair, her face a mix of disbelief and humiliation. Neighbors whisper. Some glare. Others outright ignore her as they walk past, leaving her behind. She lost. And for the first time, she knows it. Karen disappears overnight. By morning, the once proud HOA president is nowhere to be found. No emails. No calls. No HOA memos with her signature stamped in thick, self-important ink. But the damage is done. Her downfall spreads through Oak Ridge estates like wildfire. Neighbors whisper. News travels. The HOA board scrambles to clean up her mess. And when the county audit confirms the financial fraud, the real consequences roll in. By the end of the week, Karen is formally charged for misusing HOA funds. A notice is pinned to the community board. Official legal proceedings are underway. And just like that, the woman who tried to ruin me is now fighting to save herself. But justice doesn't stop there. I wake up early, as usual, before the sun burns away the cool morning mist. Rosa's already outside, leaning against the fence with a cup of coffee, grinning as she scrolls through her phone. You seen this? She asks, flipping the screen toward me. I glance down. A video of the HOA meeting. Someone uploaded the confrontation, Karen's desperate excuses, the security footage, the moment the board stripped her of power. It's already making the rounds, racking up thousands of views. I chuckle. Guess she finally got the attention she wanted. Rosa smirks. Oh, it gets better. She swipes to another post. An HOA-wide email. The board is removing every single policy Karen pushed through. The farm smell fines?
Gone.
The zoning threats? Overturned. And the best part? HOA elections are coming up. Rosa nudges me. You should run. I bark out a laugh. After what I just went through. No thanks. She shakes her head, amused. Can't blame me for trying. We sip our coffee in silence, watching the pigs shuffle lazily in their pens. The scent of fresh earth and morning dew fills the air. It smells like home, like peace. But for Karen, life is anything but peaceful. Her house goes up for sale within the month. A quiet, rushed departure. No goodbye parties. No warm send-offs. Just a desperate retreat. I hear whispers from neighbors. Her husband lost his job after the scandal. Turns out his company didn't take too kindly to Karen's racist antics going viral. Poetic justice. By the time the moving trucks roll up, the community barely acknowledges her. She was once the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood. Now, she's just another cautionary tale. Rosa, and I watch from my porch as she loads the last of her things. For a moment, her eyes meet mine. She glares. Pure venom. But there's something else, too.
Defeat.
She gets in her car, drives away, and just like that, she's gone. Oak Ridge Estates changes after that. Neighbors who once stayed silent now speak up. People who had blindly followed Karen's lead now question things. A few even apologize. One afternoon, an older white woman named Mrs. Callahan stops by my farm, carrying a homemade pie. Her hands tremble as she offers it. I should have said something sooner, she murmurs. Karen convinced us you were a problem, but the real problem was her. I take the pie.
Nod.
I don't need an apology, but it's nice to hear.
And as for me?
Life moves on. My pigs keep me busy. Business is booming. The farm stands stronger than ever. One evening, Rosa and I throw a farm barbecue, a way to reclaim the space Karen tried so hard to destroy. People come. A lot of people. Families, new neighbors, old ones who've had a change of heart. We laugh.
Eat. Celebrate.
As the sun sets, I glance around at the people gathered here. The warm glow of string lights hanging from the barn, the smell of smoked ribs in the air. Karen tried to push me out. She failed. And standing here now, surrounded by my friends, my farm, my community, I realized something. She never stood a chance.